Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
And maybe his mama told him if he doesn't have anything nice to say that he shouldn't say it at all, and that's what he's been going with for a while.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders, let's talk Penguins and Rangers, but let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Don't try it till you've had it. This is episode 101 of the Friends and Rivals podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tom Harkness. Joining me each week are
John Buccigross's favorite host of the Friends and Rivals podcast, Stephen Wojtowicz.
Friends and Razzles, what the fuck is that? This is Bill Foucher. Just looking forward to this weekend.
Fucker.
Nick Loretta, I'm just happy to be here.
all right. There's one question that's on everybody's mind.
Who's winning this?
No, it has nothing to do with this yet. Nick, did you listen to the show?
I listened only parts of it because Tara was listening to the show and she left it on and she fell asleep to it the other night.
Can't wait for that review.
We like to keep everybody on the edge of their seats on our show. Let me tell you.
All right, that was what I walked into. But what actually happened was she was listening to a different podcast and it ended and she was asleep and that kicked in because that was the last thing she played. But I did listen to it a little bit. Not really my part, just mostly Gucci's part.
He listened right up until it put him to sleep too.
No, but my brother called me and said, after I told him about, the podcast, and he was like, your mic sucks again. So he keeps telling me my mic sucks. I'm like, okay, thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
Wow.
It's not really feedback. It's just he wants to rib me. But yeah, he said, he gave us he gave me an actual review that Buccigross was great. It was, he was actually engaged listening to the thing, but he's like, I don't want to listen to you guys because I don't like hockey, but at the same time, it was pretty good, pretty cool. So I was like, hey, not too bad.
If we could keep the attention of a superstar like John Buccigross, that's a compliment right there.
I agree. Well, your brother said that. My brother said that the show was great.
That's impossible.
I mean, what's
Steve.
the difference really in that comment from both brothers?
I know.
Really, honestly.
Very similar.
But it was a very, very enjoyable week. And what a great episode 100 was. And here's to the next 100. So All-Star Weekend happened this week with our buddy John Buccigross pretty much being the MC for the entire thing. And so the skills competition was the first thing. I liked kind of some of the things that they did. I liked the whole golf thing. I thought that was pretty good. The surfboard thing, the dunk tank, that was fun, but I didn't like the breakaway challenge. That is just awful. It's almost unwatchable. And even when they did the and we'll get back to that. And when they did the target shooting and in the finals, they did them side by side. And listen, cool. Connor McDavid was 4 for 4. I don't care how long it fucking took him. He was still 4 for 4. And that's the whole point of that. And when did they turn to do a time thing with that? Because they weren't timing the first round. And in the finals, they put them side by side.
They timed the first round. That's how they determined who went to the finals.
It's hokey. I like the old way. Why change it? At least in that event, they didn't need to change it.
I think they changed it because they felt too many people were going 4 for 4, and they needed a way to determine who's the winner. If everyone goes 4 for 4, it's got to be who did it the quickest. So that's why they switched to time.
Okay, that's good to have it as a tiebreaker to do that. Then that's fine. But the accuracy shooting, there should be some accuracy in there. And Connor McDavid didn't miss a fucking target, and he still lost. I didn't like that. Wasn't for me. But the breakaway thing, the Mitch Marner thing, all of them, they were just terrible.
Terrible. Even the OV kid thing, which was,
the one judge didn't give him like a 2. That was great.
They gotta get back to the basics. It feels like I don't like the fact that they just gone so like the last year in Vegas they did the little pond hockey thing where they had chipped the puck onto things, and I'm like, I like the idea of doing that on the ice. Like you could put like an obstacle or something and try to, like when you do a real drill is to hit it over a stick onto a pass, someone hit a pass like while you're
Right.
going back and forth, right? So that's something like that makes sense, like a long distance pass competition where you're trying to hit these like further targets in the air, and it has to be with has to land and hit the target or something. But then this year they did, it just too much off the wall shit.
Too much off the ice.
And I mean, yeah, exactly. Like it's almost like, I don't know if you guys watched the Pro Bowl, which was the skills competition there was even worse than hockey. So it couldn't be as bad as trying to do a tic-tac-toe with long snappers, punters, and kickers, where the only people that hit the target were the fucking long snappers.
Oh my
or
goodness.
or a game of dodgeball, because dodgeball and football, those are actually congruent to each other and have some meaning. Literally, they just did things that made no sense. And I mean, that's where like it feels like hockey's been heading. And it's like, just bring it back to like, do we have to have the guys there that are like, the best players there? Why don't we just like find out who the fastest guys are? Because they're not always like McDavid's obviously extremely fast.
So that was an idea I saw somebody say on Twitter, each team should compete do their own skills competition.
Why
and
not?
send the best of those guys to the skills competition.
Or some to like a divisional one. Like they have they could film it on
where
YouTube,
they got to build up
Metro.
up to competing in the skills competition.
And then they go and do these at the actual All-Star game. And you get random people that are actually like the fastest player or like the best shooter or whatever.
And that's how you grow the game, right? The more names you can get people to recognize is going to get more people interested in when a random game is on some Thursday in early March.
Right. Or what if you had a player, like a thing where you said, all right, there's certain players we're going to have that are like they're high in every one of these things. So they go and they do every category. And the overall winner who has the most points of those.
Like a decathlon in the Olympics.
Yeah. Is like the most skilled player in the NHL and gets like $1 million and whatever, or they give it to charity or whatever. Just something that makes sense and can be marketable, which is not hard. They try to like do all this dumb shit that just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't.
This was the year I joined Team Billy when it comes to the skills competition. It was unwatchable.
Did you sit on your lawn and yell at kids to get off?
I did. I said, "Hey, you stop having skills competitions."
That's actually what I was doing during this skills competition, because there was no way I was going to watch any of it. So
our text feed was really quiet that
they
night.
Started a competition and then moved to something else, and then moved to something else, and then went back to the first thing, and then went to the fourth thing, and went to the third thing. There was no continuity, and it was awful. It was all just done to get clips that can be put on Twitter or Instagram. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being somebody that had to sit in that arena for 3+ hours and watch it.
It wasn't even sold out.
Right. The whole first segment, there was like barely anybody in the lower bowl.
I did laugh a little bit when Cal McCarr fell. Was that wrong?
Yes, that's
it was right. It was right.
It's all for the show. It's all for the show, Cal. So turning attention now to the game itself. The game itself is fine. I like the 3-on-3. It was good. It was entertaining. But here are my things. If you're trying to grow the game, make it easier to watch and have experts call the game. Okay. Back in the day, we had Doc Emmerich, we had JD. You had these guys that were pillars, who were experts, who you listened to. Well, maybe everybody but Billy. Man, you just fucking don't like anybody.
No, he doesn't.
You are just a miserable fuck.
I think
he liked JD.
That's fair. But it's not like I hate Emmerich personally or didn't think that he had the hockey knowledge. It's just his voice just sought out the sensitive parts of my spine and maybe crazy.
But still,
isn't your whole spine the sensitive part?
Doc Emmerich worked full-time for an NHL team for the New Jersey Devils, and then worked for the networks on the weekends or when some big event happened or when the playoffs happened. Okay. the guy that and look, again, I can't tell. I like Sean McDonough. He's got a great voice and he's a really good sports broadcaster. He can't be the pinnacle guy for the NHL if he doesn't call it all the time or if he's not part of the game all the time.
Who's that guy then?
So I was thinking about that. But they both work for TNT. It's either Kenny Albert or Brendan Burke. One of those two guys is your lead play-by-play guy on ESPN. It has to be. It has to be. You got to get somebody, and if not, listen, the new guy for the Devils, he sounds pretty much just like Brendan Burke. So do that, but just get somebody who's in there full time and who calls hockey games on a daily basis so he can interject some expertise into the game. Because as much as I like Sean McDonough, he doesn't do that.
And this is where I think ESPN sees sports broadcasting as moving away from that to a more conversational Manning cast type broadcast full time.
It could.
I hope not.
Less about play by play and more about nuance and strategy and using that to tell some random story about something else.
But that's fine. Have good stories then.
Wow.
Don't have this guy call a goal for friggin' Kaprizov.
Kaprizov, see?
Kaprizov,
you don't even know his name.
Instead of McDavid. You know, it's Connor McDavid. Okay, they both wear 97, but know who the hell's on the ice. You know, there was a lot of things that were iffy about Sean McDonough. Secondly, were the jerseys. I had a hard time in the beginning adjusting and figuring out who was on what team. And I had a hard time because I typically look at shorts down and, you know,
of course
that's kind of where the eyes are.
Always.
And I
You nailed that one, Chris. Good job.
But listen, no, I can, and that helps me follow the puck, and two, you know, determine which team is which. Okay. From the bottom down, they were both fucking the same. There was no difference. So I was screwed, and I had a hard time. I had to get through probably a period and a half of that first game to really get my eyes adjusted and not be so focused on the puck and on the ice.
Do you think they did that to make it easy so that when the third game came about, they didn't have to change everything from the waist down? They just changed a jersey if it was the two.
Yes, that's
Westerns?
100% why they did that. And I just have 4 different color jerseys. That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't really give a shit.
Yeah,
There's your solution.
You're absolutely right.
More fucking jerseys.
You're absolutely right.
The gameplay, I got a big problem with fucking Rod the Bod. All right, for the Metro team. How the fuck do you put Kevin Hayes with Panarin and Goudreau? That should have been Hughes with those two all day long, and put Hughes with Brock Nelson and Svechnikov. That was the balance of that line. If that was the change, Metro wins. I'm fucking coaching the Metro team next year because that was awful.
How about
Terrible.
Crosby and Ovechkin said they wanted to play with Hughes and he didn't put them together?
Right. They played with Fox the entire game, and
Terrible.
Fox just watched them two play. That was all
that's
he did. That's all he had to do. Because, you know, on the Metro team, it was all about those two guys.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And look, confetti during a TV timeout is always a good idea for an ice hockey game. Fucking idiots. And listen, give me Johnny Hockey with Artemi Panarin all day long. I'll take that all day long.
Johnny Hockey.
Yeah, you're going to get him.
I said that to annoy Bill, first off.
How about it's not a real hockey game, right? So why not have the third and fourth place teams play each other before the first and second teams?
They're only allotted 3 hours. You can't fit that fourth game in there. You can only do 3.
Why?
They had to get to the news. Well, and they also had to show the Ovechkin special prior to the All-Star game.
Right.
Which I thought was okay. I thought that was pretty good. But if they were looking to build or grow the game based off of this weekend,
no,
they failed miserably trying to do that. And I think we all talked about this, that all-star games in general are just unwatchable.
They suck.
Unwatchable. I tried to watch that friggin' flag football game yesterday.
Why?
Oh my God, did I make a big mistake? First off, I came in and Kirk Cousins threw an interception to Tyreek Hill, which, I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It was Kirk Cousins, the worst thing on earth. It's no wonder why his team's never been to the Super Bowl. And it's so bad that Major League Baseball has the best all-star game.
Yeah.
And it's not even fucking close. Going back to early episodes of the Friends of Rivals podcast, it's not debatable that the Major League Baseball has the best all-star game.
This might be.
And it is not fun.
This might be
Right.
the only time I've ever agreed with your not debatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no,
Agreed.
I'm not disagreeing at all.
This is the only time you've said it, and it's been factually correct.
It
I
really
was-
is unanimous.
I want to drop my
Yeah.
mic, but I don't want to do that right now.
Nick, who despises baseball, agrees with
I
you.
agree.
Yeah.
That's how bad all-star games are.
I mean, the NBA is the only other one that's even on the table, and that's like they score like 1 billion points.
Just because,
No one's playing
there's
defense.
no defense at all, and yeah,
It's not a real game, and it's just like and they only play in the last they try to keep it close, and then they try to play a real game in the last minute or so.
right.
But like who gives a shit? Like they keep changing this format so many times. It's like I don't know. I feel like you really just gotta figure out like what did baseball do? They made it so that the winner has home
It's
field advantage.
home ice advantage in
Right.
the playoffs.
Not
right.
anymore. Yeah.
Why not do something like that? And then
No, but-
it gives
but
them
the win-
incentive.
No, but the
But-
winning team got $1 million. They got to split $1 million.
Yeah.
That's
They
like us
clearly don't
splitting
need it.
$100 each.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is.
They clearly didn't give a shit. So
No.
I mean,
It really
that's the
isn't.
problem. That's the problem. So
But all right, is there a way to make maybe not the skills competition unless they go back to some of the older formats? But is there a way to make the All-Star game
No.
good?
yeah,
No.
There is no-
yeah,
No.
yeah.
No.
There's a way. There's a way.
Uh,
You know what? You got to bring in people that aren't fucking NHL All Stars and play against them and make it serious. Or play
Oh. Like they did
they-
with like Russia in like the early
Yeah.
80s.
because the NHL players are they're all out there together. They don't give a shit. But as soon as you make it a real game, you get people that are actually going to play the game. They're going to play.
Get the
They're gonna
KHL
care.
All-Stars.
that would be really fucking awesome. There is a couple of problems with that. Is the KHL season still going on?
Yeah.
KHL league
It
anymore.
is, right? But it's getting closer to the playoffs. So if
Yeah.
they played each other, there'd be a lot of hitting going on. I don't think that the NHL or the KHL want anybody getting hurt.
That's
Again,
that's
it's
not
an
a mid-season
exhibition
thing.
game. There's no way to do it. There's no way to do it. There's no way to fill this game with any passion or emotion. Zero. No matter, you can give them split $10 million, split $11 million. You each get $1 million.
Here's
bucks.
how you
They don't
make
care.
it. Here's how you make it more entertaining. Helmets, gloves, skates, and sticks. That's it.
No pads.
That's it. Go out there and play hockey.
like pond hockey.
Yeah.
And look, Butch,
Actually-
maybe Butcher Gross there's something to what he said last week about, in overtime playing that pond hockey style of game, and maybe even in the All-Star game playing that
Just
pond
try
hockey
it.
style game.
Just
Yeah.
try it. Yeah.
Just try it. If it doesn't work, you can do it next year. And everyone's pissed off, and it was just abysmal trying to watch the All-Star festivities. It was terrible. And look, All-Star games were brought on back in the day because there was no TV deal like there is today where you get to watch teams.
Right.
Back in the day, this was where you saw, and especially in baseball, that's where you saw people from the National League when we're an American League based city.
Or the West Coast teams, even
Right,
in your
exactly.
own league.
But this is not it anymore. So they really have a hard task on trying to figure out how to make any All-Star game watchable. Good luck, bro. Oof. Well,
Oof.
I think that just about does the All-Star weekend. But there was some good that came out of it from the Bettman conference, right? We got approaching $6 billion in revenue. That's a really good, right?
Yeah. Till
No?
they come up with some reason not to share it with the players.
Well, they're not. It's just it should expedite the process to pay back the escrow.
Should, but again,
But
he'll
it's-
come up with some reason for it not to.
Right.
Yeah.
And what the NHLPA is trying to elect a new president. So those are did anything else come out of that Bettman news conference besides the revenue?
I think he said that. I don't know if he said it now, but I know recently it was reported that the viewership has been down from this year on hockey. But as most people point out, it's not because they don't want to watch hockey. It's because they literally can't watch.
Can't
hockey.
find it.
It's
can't
blacked out in
fucking
their
find
market.
it.
So if you
Everywhere.
cut the cord, like
Yeah.
say if Billy was still a Ranger fan and he cut the cord, he wouldn't be able
Yep.
on his ESPN app to watch a Ranger game.
The only reason it works for me is because I'm out of market. I can watch Islander games except for when they're playing Carolina. Then I have to, and that's the only one that's black. And then even then, there's times where it's blacked out locally and I can't watch the game. I've tried to watch it on YouTube TV, and which has local channels, but that sometimes doesn't have the game, and it's extremely frustrating when you're trying to find any local game. It doesn't make any sense. And this is like not different. This has been the same for a long time, but now that we've cut the cord, it's made it even harder because most people don't even have local channels.
Right.
So that just makes it so much more difficult. And the fact that ESPN, I don't know if you've tried, but I've actually missed my own game because I'm like, it's not on the ESPN app. I can't find it. Flipping through the things. Unless you search for it sometimes, like type in and go to NHL or some bullshit. It's a
doesn't
shit
show up.
If the
fucking thing.
game is being simulcasted on the NHL network, it won't be on the ESPN app. I've had that happen a couple of times with the Rangers.
That must have been what happened to me. I don't know. It's infuriating. I'll just be like, forget it. I'm not going to watch tonight.
But if you don't have cable,
Whatever.
you're not watching the NHL network. I don't know of a way outside of your cable company that you can
Yep.
stream the NHL network.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
this
on the
is-
NHL app.
This is
No,
no
'cause
different
it's
from
not.
years ago. Because years ago, I called in I bought one year before the first game of the day. It took me like fucking 45 minutes to get to happen to calling stupid ass cable or Comcast or whatever, just to order the package, and just only to find out that my package didn't come with the local games. And then I was like, my brain was exploding, and I had to call back and be like, oh, they're like, oh, you have to upgrade your cable just to get that channel. And I was like, you gotta be fucking out of your mind. I just paid like $150 for this stupid fucking thing. So that's a big problem they gotta figure out.
But I don't understand the blackout rules and how the FCC runs them, or if it's even the FCC. I don't know who runs.
No, it's not
that
the
part.
FCC. It's the league that determines that.
If
The
league is
FCC could give a fuck.
if the league is the one that determines the blackouts, then
It's the league's agreements with the local regional sports channels that they're not going to compete against them.
what? And Bally Sports is still going to go under. That's
Yes.
great. That's wonderful. Ugh.
Can we talk some fucking hockey now?
We did talk hockey. We talked about it. That's all we've been doing so far.
Okay.
All right, let's move away from All-Star Weekend and go into what
thank
we're going to
God.
be talking about probably for the next fucking month solid, and that we've already been talking for a month solid about, and that's trade season. So, who are you linked to, and who's on your particular wish list? Billy, you go first.
Yeah, I'm not that creative when it comes to the Penguins, because I just know, what major they haven't done a major thing in years and years. So like, what are they going to do with the deadline? But the link has been, I heard it earlier in the season. It's been persistent, and I think it's frankly been persistent for a lot of teams, but a lot of teams are getting linked to Brock Besser. And they keep on talking about the Penguins with Brock Besser because of that Penguins Canucks relationship with the GMs, with Jimmy Rutherford over there. And the latest rumor that I'm hearing is that maybe because Jim Rutherford is a simp for Kasperi Kapanen, that could be a good deal, a good way to go, because it seems like Besser's having he's underperforming this season, having a tough time, and it seems like they're saying that a change of pace might do him good. He's still a young guy, 25 years old, and he's making good money, and maybe Vancouver wants to take somebody who's underperforming and move him, and maybe Jimmy Rutherford would love yet another chance with Kapanen, for whatever the reason is. So that's been kind of a thing that's been rumored, and if it were to happen, I don't think it's going to happen because I think he's linked to so many places. I think somebody's going to come up with a better deal for him, but I do think he's going to move. But if he went to the Penguins, I think it would mean having to put him on one of the top two lines to really kind of justify that investment. And then moving like a Ruster or Raquel down to the third line to try to give them a boost. And so I would like it to happen. Certainly I wouldn't mind seeing Kapanen go if they somehow make the money work in that deal. That'd be fine with me. And really my wish list is to a little bit of a boost for the third line because that Jeff Carter line has really done jack and shit all year. So it would be nice to see maybe a chance at an upgrade. So I think that's really what we're talking there. And really outside of that, I don't have a trade wish list. My only other wish for the Penguins, I want Tristan Jarry to be healthy and play up to the level that he's capable of the rest of the season, because that's really where their playoff chances lay. They're firmly in his hands. So that's what I'm thinking with the Pittsburgh.
Brock, but 2 years left at 6.65. That's not average. That's total, right? So he's making 3.3 a year. Brock,
No.
I thought his average was
is it 6
plus
per year. Yeah.
All right. Wow. I don't know. Penguins gonna have to really make that cap work, and they're gonna have to trade somebody like a Kasperi Kapanen or somebody with some term, because he's good for 2 more years, for this year and next year.
Yeah.
Nick, Bo Horvat, big acquisition for the Islanders. That's it. You guys are done.
I don't think we're done. I think Lou's still looking around. I mean, realistically, they could really use an upgrade. This is, if they're doing this right, it's one of two things. Obviously, we already signed Horvat for 8 years, so he's a long-term move, as Lou likes to do. But at the same time, if you got to think like, are we going to continue? Is he going to just kind of go for it? Is this the year he goes F it, and he's going to trade another first rounder or second rounder? What's he going to do? Because he already traded away, a lot for Horvat. But granted, it came with term, so now we're into the likely out of that whole term piece, and it could be now we're going for a UFA that we're not going to resign, or maybe you resign, right? It doesn't,
because you got the cap space, right, to do it.
Cap space isn't the problem, because they didn't
Right.
lose any cap space from the trade. They got the same, same cap hit. So that's a pretty big, and that was what tells me kind of that he wants to leave himself open for moves. So realistically, that leaves like a forward and a defenseman. In the forward, be a top 6 forward you're trying to get a rental for. Defenseman, somebody to back up the top 4 defenseman to really try to keep it deep, because I mean that's I think the biggest concern is you got a couple of kids that can move up, but you're going into a deep run with mostly a very with like about, I guess, with 4 guys that have been deep in the playoffs. So I think maybe they might go get they might go for a right-hand D. Obviously, Luke Shen is available, but they didn't get him already, and they just traded the Canucks. So yeah, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking that's just an extra thing. But the guy I really would like to see him to get is it's a pipe dream, because you have to probably trade a lot. Be Tarasenko. Isles have been linked to Tarasenko before, and him.
Do you have the assets anymore to get him?
I don't think so. That's why I'm like,
I think Horvat is your Tarasenko.
Yeah. No, I think so. But if they could pull off some miracle move and trade out, Josh Bailey and some second round pick, and just somehow manage to handshake deal and get Tarasenko, that would really upgrade the top 6 and put you in a position where I think you'd have a chance to make some noise this year. So, but that would be my hopeful thing. Personally, I think probably a minor defenseman or somebody not on the board. I don't know. That's just my feeling. I don't think Lou's gonna go for it, but he left himself open. So maybe in case it comes up.
All right, we'll save the Devils for last. So I've been, all last year and even over the summer and this year, it's all been about the pipe dream of Patrick Kane playing with Artemi Panarin. But as more as I watch this team, they're not one player, and Butchergrass said that last week. They are not one player away from a Stanley Cup. They're a couple of players away from the Stanley Cup. You look at this team now, and Trocheck has not worked. He's not been working with anybody. With Panarin, who's probably the easiest person in the world to play with. And then even now, these couple of games with Kreider, it just doesn't look like they have that magic and they have that chemistry together. Like you look at the kid line. Even Panarin playing with Zibanejad has been okay, but they need somebody on their right-hand side. Veezy's not the answer to it. And just the same, Barclay Goudreau is not the answer for Kreider and Trocheck. So they're in a spot right now where they need 2 top 6 wings to come over and play with those 2 lines, because you don't really want to break up the kid line unless you really have to, because the magic that they're showing, and Filip Chytil has just been on a tear lately. More on him later. But I think you need 2 top 6 wingers, and however you can make that happen. I don't think it's going to be the big names either. I don't think you could put all your fish in one basket, because you need at least 2 players and that 7th or 6th or 7th defenseman for depth. So you certainly have guys out there. If I did have a wish, I'm telling you that I'd want Frank Vetrano back to play on one of those 2 lines. He's not going to cost you a lot, and he's already proven that he can play with you. And to put him on the right side of Kreider and Trocheck, I think it could be a home run, if not on the line with Kreider and Zibanejad, like it worked out last year in the playoffs. Probably asking a lot to get lightning in a bottle 2 years in a row, but hey, it's already worked once. Why can't it work a second time? So he would be like my wish guy. And he's not going to cost all that much. So you certainly have the cap space and the assets to go out and get somebody else. Steve, New Jersey Devils.
With the Devils, it's the name you hear over and over and over again from pundits to fans is Timo Meier out of San Jose. There's a Swiss connection with Hischier. He's on a team that wants to probably, do a little rebuild. The Devils have the assets. So it's all a matter of when is it going to happen? That's their number one target. They're also linked to Besser. They're also linked to Tarasenko. They're also linked to Van Riemsdyk, although I don't think Philly would ever deal within the division. And then they're linked to 3 other players, probably a little bit because of Burnett, in Duclair, Bennett, and Reinhart, all out of Florida. Duclair is just coming back from an Achilles injury, so they're going to have to make room. What are you shaking your head for?
I wouldn't touch him coming off of that injury.
Well, Well, are they going to move him, or are they going to move one of the Sams to make room for him to come in? Assuming nobody's probably going to want to trade for Duclair again because of the injury.
But you got to move assets. You have not only assets, you have to move salary away.
And that's the 2 Sams. They're making money. Yeah. They, move either one of them, and I think you could fit them in.
Even with Meyer, you're going to have to give up a lot. And like the Devils and the Rangers have been tied to just about fucking everybody.
Right.
Out there, everybody, because they have cap space and they have assets, and
they got to make a push because they're going to face each other. They're lined up to face each other in the first round at this point.
Yeah, and I think that unless something happens with Carolina, I think that's pretty locked in.
And come playoff time, it's going to be this team went out and got this guy for this round. One of us is going to win and one of us is going to lose in terms of not just who was acquired at the trade deadline, but in that playoff series as well.
Do you think Timo Meier is really can really be a make or break guy? Can he be the guy that makes your team and puts you over the edge? I don't know.
Puts us over the edge. I don't know. Gets us way closer to the edge. Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Speed,
and look,
scoring, toughness, age. He fits right into everything
he's a top six guy.
Everything the team is going for. He fits right in.
Yeah.
That
look,
$10 million that $10 million qualifying offer is a little crazy. And for the Sharks are at like the maximum number of contracts you can have. I think 50. So in order to acquire him in a multiplayer deal, you're going to have to take back players in exchange along with Timo Meier. So it's who else are we going to get? Their 48th and 49th player. And who are we going to have to give up to get them as well?
Right. And if you get Meier and you're looking to sign him, are you taking Meier over Barat, or do you think you can sign both of them?
I think you could sign both of them at that point. I think if both of them will take in that, 8 to 9 range that Horvat just got, I think you could fit both of them with the money coming off the books.
That's a big if for a guy who's supposed to be making a qualifying offer. Oh, that's a kick. Sorry. But
that's a qualifying offer 1 year deal. If I say here's 60 million versus $10 million guaranteed, you're going to take the 60.
Yeah, but he can always pull a judge and say, I'm going to bank on myself and go.
Wow. Then we'll pay him the 10 million and, hope he succeeds.
I just, I understand what it's going to cost to get some of these guys. And with Brendan Hoffman, I think he's a guy who's going to be moved in one of these deals, or even, I think he's more valuable in the Lafreniere at this point. But it's I don't want to lose those young guys and those assets that are going to cost us. But tis the season. If it costs you,
yeah, and I'm willing to lose, a Holtz,
because that's what it's going to cost you for sure.
As part of the package it's going to take. I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Selling our souls for a chance at the cup. Tis the season for that, for sure. All right, let's take a ride on the Metro. This one's sponsored by Rich Wholesome Nestle Quick. Hello, boys and girls. Do you hate the taste of regular milk and need energy? Try Nestle Quick. One sip and you can feel the energy in your muscles. Nestle Quick, now available in chocolate and strawberry.
They say the real men drink pink. Then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
Bill,
is it going to be as quick as last week's was?
No. We're gonna dive in a little bit to our teams, because we haven't talked about them in a couple of weeks, and even Mr. Hextall was out yapping to the media, wasn't he?
What the thing about the questioning Mike Sullivan, or the players tuning out Mike Sullivan, that thing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I did like his response.
It's good when your GM comes out and at least talks to the media. I like when GMs do that.
Yeah, I think that's the first words he's spoken all year, all season, I should say. I'm not talking about the calendar year 2023. Yeah, Hextall's not a chatty Cathy whatsoever. And maybe his mama told him if he doesn't have anything nice to say that he shouldn't say it at all, and that's what he's been going with for a while.
Yeah, he's been going for that for a long time, since he was a Flyers goaltender. Yeah.
I do think he was under a little bit more acute criticism after the way the Penguins ended their All-Star break with that loss to San Jose, because he was kind of quiet when everybody else was pretty much fuming around the organization about what a shit effort that was. And that's the one thing I missed being able to do last week too, when we had John Buccigross on, is vent about the shitty taste that the Penguins left in the mouths of everybody with the way they went into the break. So, I mean, the last time we were doing our ride around the Metro, couple Mondays ago, they had just played Jersey the night before. They had lost, and I forget if it was overtime or shootout, but they had lost. It was overtime. I remember.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel that bad about that game. I was saying, they kind of dictated the pace of that game. I didn't mind that road loss to a real good team. It sat okay with me. Jari was back, and we were going into the last 3 games before the break with Florida, Washington, and San Jose coming. I was hoping for some points and to see them, kind of they weren't going to be real secure in their 8th spot. They're a bubble team, but I was hoping that they would strengthen that a little bit. But the next game was Florida. Jari went down with some mystery ailment right before the game. And that thrust Casey DeSmith back into the net against Florida. And that was after they had played, Alex Lyon had played that night before in New York. And man, the two of them going against each other was every bit the shit show that you would have expected. So
you called it right in our Twitter group, our texting group. You called that as soon as right before the game started.
Yeah. It was brutal to watch. The goaltending, I mean, 7-6 was the final score. The Penguins won, and I'm here to tell you that, I mean, all but maybe 2 of the goals in the game really should have been stopped, or were scored because of misplays by the goalie. It was ridiculous. Go back. I encourage everybody to go back and watch the highlights. It is like a blooper reel with those 2 goaltenders. But a win's a win. I heard people try to defend Casey DeSmith, with the whole, he didn't expect to play that night. It was a last minute thing. He's if you're a backup goalie in the NHL, that's your fucking job. You're supposed to be ready to play. If something unexpected comes up, and even if you're the starting goalie in the NHL, you think you're getting the night off, but you're still suiting up, something could happen to that guy too. So you know what, just go in and play a solid goal when you have to. Then the Penguins went out to Washington, made it to another overtime. I believe that one went to a shootout. They lost to Washington there, but played a decently scrappy game. So we're coming up on the San Jose game. San Jose is on a 4-game losing streak, literally sucks at everything they do. And we know that we're going to have like 10 days off after that. And the Penguins just do this all the time. Like when there's a big break coming, like I'm going to say like 4+ days of a break coming. I mean, the Penguins roll into that game and they just take a complete shit every time. And so I'm bracing myself for that with the San Jose game. And sure enough, I mean, they lose 6-4. I'm not going to pin this one on Casey DeSmith, even though I will say Tristan Jarry probably gets the Penguins over the hump and they win that game, because Tristan Jarry, when he's playing well, has masked a lot of the issues that the Penguins have and has come up with enough big saves to win some of these kind of games where we're really not sharp. But I'm still not blaming DeSmith for it, because it's just not a reasonable ask for your goaltender night in and night out to put you on their back. It was an awful effort against San Jose. It was just the kind of game like where you could tell, like, not it was the kind of laziness that comes from just not respecting your opponent, just not moving your feet enough, just thinking, yeah, I'm going to make this pass. I'm going to assume it's going to go through the guy that's trying to defend me, and so what if it doesn't? It's not going to end up in the back of my net. They kept going in the back of the net, and so that game ended, and it was such a pivotal game. They were 3-0-3 in their prior 6, so they had not lost in regulation. We're going into this long break. We've got games in hand on Washington. We've got games in hand on everybody that is chasing us or we're chasing. And it's just these 2 points. If they ended that with a win, would have given them a good feeling going into that break. Instead, they're up by a point over Buffalo, and it looks like it's coming down. And they got to come back and play Colorado tomorrow night. So it's not a good way to come out of the break. I feel like Colorado is going to smash their face in after what I saw. I've just been sitting here dreading it for 10 days now, because if they had won that game, the feeling would have been different. The feeling would have been completely different. So very pivotal game that they blew. That just never showed up, and now we got Colorado coming up on Tuesday, and then they hit the West Coast, which is always kind of a feast or famine for them. They usually do exceedingly well or exceedingly shitty when they fly across the country. So got to wait and see what we're talking about next week.
And Nick, the Icelanders, they get their man in Bo Horvat. They sign him to a long-term deal, and then they go out and play the Philadelphia Flyers tonight.
That's my update. Thanks, Tom.
Happy to help.
So yeah, so we kind of covered that last week, right before Bucci came on. I changed all of my questions right before the happened, which was great, but it wasn't too bad actually. It was adjustments. So anyway, the this week, what was it? Yesterday, I think we got the term. Maybe 2 days ago, I don't remember now. It was 8 by 8.5, the contract for Horvat. The person who leaked this deal hours before it happened, it said was like basically it was on the NHL subreddit, and I'm sorry, New York Islanders subreddit, and he said that he worked at some law firm or some contract thing and got a friend of his or whatever the story was, uncle or some bullshit.
My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid is going with the girl who's...
It was the contract had come across as 8.5 over 7 for Bo Horvat, and so they were processing, I guess, the deal or the offer. So maybe it was an initial offer that they had already kind of agreed upon or put whatever. So anyway, that was the whole thing. He leaked it like hours ahead of time, which, Zalou deal came out of nowhere, but someone got ahead of it. So everyone was kind of aware, and then it actually happened. And then people were like, holy shit, it really happened. And then obviously they must have amended the deal slightly since it, a couple of days went by. But 8 years made sense because that's why he can get one more year from the Isles. You wouldn't be able to get from anybody else in UFA. So there it is. Yeah, great move, I guess. At this point, you gotta call it, right? You're like, hey, you gotta sign the guy, and you got him long 8 years. You know what? He played tonight. His first game as an Islander. Definitely has a different look to the team now because Barzal's been the #1 center for the last couple of years, and as I hoped and predicted, he moved over to the wing on Horvat's wing, and I think it's a better spot for him. He's still a bit of a turnover machine sometimes when he gets a little too, into his his own zone, doing all sorts of shit. But he keeps it simple, man. He's a guy that I think now has some more flexibility to go different lines and give the lines different looks. And it was evident by his goal on the second period. He had a nice little deflection, like a shot pass kind of shot, went to across. I don't know. It looked like a shot, but definitely a pass to Barzal, a quick deflection goal.
Shot pass.
And, it was good. It was good.
No
but
such
it was
thing.
interesting to see him on the wing. And yesterday he was centering Horvat in practice. Today they swapped. So it's possible they move it around, but I don't see it changing very much because Horvat's far superior as a face-off guy. And with him and Nelson and Pajot and Cizikas down the middle, we have a very good team on face-offs. Pajot and Horvat are above 57%, I think, each, if I remember correctly. And Nelson was in the 50s, but lower 50s. So now that Horvat's taken more of those important ones, maybe Nelson gets some of the lesser tier guys, and maybe they all go up. But hey, that's they won tonight 2-1. Pretty much, they just escaped the game. They up 2-0, and turnover turned to a goal, and they eventually almost lost that one. Almost got tied, I should say, but they escaped from Philly with a win. Horvat, we got his first win as an Islander, 3-0 in the last 3 games, but we haven't played since the All-Star break before then, so everything has been covered. So I got nothing else going on. Just that was pretty much the entirety of the update. The one game in the contract. So
Well, that's good.
that's all.
Steve, Devils.
4-4, 3 minutes left to go against Vancouver. First game back, obviously. After the last game before was, a very nice victory over Dallas in overtime. So they went into the break on a high note, unlike the Penguins. I was fully expecting them to do the same thing Billy was expecting, just, phone it in, going up on the road against the best team in the West and just, go, you know what? It's not going to be our game. Let's go enjoy the break. And yet they went down early 2-0 after the first, but they fought back and fought back and fought back. They're still not putting together full 60-minute efforts. And if there's something that changes between now and the end of the season, they need to learn how to play a full 60-minute game. This week we got the Kraken at home on Thursday, and then it starts a 4-game road trip with the Wild on Saturday. That continues next week with Columbus, St. Louis, and Pittsburgh wrapping up the trip a week from Saturday.
So as far as the Rangers go, before the break, it was a couple of games, one in Toronto, which was a very interesting game that ended really, really quickly in overtime, thanks to our friend Mitch Marner. And then, like everybody else, they could have come home that last game before the break and really just phone it in. But, this team likes to win games before they go on a break. And they did just that, and they put forth a really solid effort against the Golden Knights at home, winning 4-1 and really going into break on a high note. Some things that are working right now is Filip Chytil. He is just on fire. Scored 2 goals tonight, 17 and 18th on the season. Those are all career highs for him. He has just been on an absolute tear, and we're always going into the year trying to figure out what the hell Filip Chytil is.
What do we got? What do we got in Filip Chytil this year?
Filip Chytil is going to get a contract extension. That's what he's going to get.
That's what he's doing. He's making that money right now.
Yeah, and he's earning that money right now. That's for damn sure. What's not working is the power play. It's they're struggling to be very nice. They are struggling immensely. They are starting to give that second unit more and more power play time, but they just don't have that I don't know what to call it. They just don't get the respect from the other team while they're on like the first power play unit does.
So the other team pressures them, right?
Yeah, immensely. Mika did score a power play goal tonight, and it was toward the end of the period. This game has been a really crazy game with a lot of physicality to it, a lot of hitting, a lot of fighting, and it's a 4-4 tie with about 5 minutes left in the third period.
It's a very fundamentally sound team they're playing.
Well, no, not this year. Not Calgary, not so much this year. I can tell you though, there are a couple of players on Calgary that I would.
They're a mean team, right?
Yep, they certainly are. And look, we get to play them this week and at the end of next week. So it's a lot of fun. So we have Calgary tonight, as I mentioned, 4-4 late in the third period right now. We got Vancouver on Wednesday, the Kraken on Friday, and then the Rangers start a 4-game road trip. That starts in Calgary and then eventually goes up to the Pacific Northwest with Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary. So it's not always the best trip for the Rangers when they go up to Edmonton and Calgary. They seem to have a lot of good luck at Vancouver, but the Alberta trip really seems to burn them every year. But we'll see. There's lots of points on the board. Go get them. You got some good tests there too, at home against the Kraken on Friday and at Carolina on Saturday night. So there's some good tests. There's some points out there. Go get them.
It's time to flip your book to page number 1 and enjoy some trivia with Bill.
What the fuck was that?
Now this is the wrong Bill.
Because he's got to go now to page 1 in the trivia book.
Back to question 1.
You're so happy about it, though.
I said yuck at
I
the
mean,
end.
even though you said yuck at the end, you seemed too happy about this. This is not what we discussed in the pre-game notes.
I was calling an audible.
But don't you guys like the trivia segment?
Yeah, we don't like you.
I was giving him a shot
Jeez.
pass.
Jesus.
Omaha.
Yeah.
Who scored the very first goal?
Wayne
in
Gretzky.
NHL. I could finish. Maybe if I could finish the question, maybe nobody would hate me so much if you just lay off and let me finish the question.
No.
Why'd you
Who
cry about it?
scored?
Holy shit.
Who scored the very first goal in NHL history?
Mr. Stanley Cup.
That's a great guess. But no, there was not actually a guy.
His
named
name was
Stanley
Fred.
Cup.
Oh, it was Babe Ruth.
No, that Babe Ruth was a baseball player.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Joe
that
Morris.
wasn't Fred.
Oh,
Wasn't he a running back for the Giants?
Morris. Freeman McNeil. See, I could do it too.
Trying to think of like an old timey name. Artris Urbe.
So Joe Morris.
He was a goalie.
Hi, I'm
old-timey
Joe
name?
Morris. I'm Joe Morris. I drink alcohol during Prohibition. It works.
Ay, ay, ay.
Artris Urbe is not the answer, huh?
No, he was a goalie for the San Jose Sharks.
Bryant Hextall.
Nope, not him.
Stanley Steamer.
Jesus Christ.
No.
Oh,
It's,
Wait.
Gordie Howe.
no, it wasn't Gordie Howe. Steve, you don't have to raise your hand. I don't know if you've sat through this segment before, but you guys never really raise your hand so much as just throw out terrible answers.
Fred Hockey.
John
No.
Martin Kovic.
Oh,
Ooh.
Johnny.
Oh, he's
Ooh.
not that old.
Oh, that little guy.
He's not that old.
In your pocket.
Who was the oldest guy on our team? Jimmy Schultz.
I think you know what? I think John was, but I think Jimmy looked the oldest.
Jimmy Schultz almost scored the first goal, but he hit the post.
I think Kale was. Kale had to be older than. No, Kale was older.
Nick Cale, yeah,
Yeah,
Nick
yeah.
was older.
Kale's
than
older.
everyone.
He's
Is it Jack Hughes?
no.
Phil Hughes.
Luke
Phil
Hughes?
Hughes. No.
Archerus
Quinn Hughes.
Hughes.
Huey Lewis
It's-
in news.
No, it's actually nobody with a Hughes in their name anywhere. So
Is
um,
it Art Ross?
no, that's
Lady Bing.
Was
that would be pretty cool.
it Conn Smythe?
That's my favorite answer,
Was it Conn
Um,
Smythe?
but wrong. No, there's not a trophy named after not a major NHL.
All right, well, don't
award, at
jump
least,
ahead
named
and
after
steal our answers, you dick.
Patrick
Oh.
Division.
Oh. Was it Lester
A-
Patrick?
a
Was it-
division. You're
was it
guessing a
Wales?
division?
Was it Wales
Scored the first-
division? Is it Wales
No.
Conference?
No. So there's multiple choice if you want me to.
Yeah,
is
it's
there?
really multiple
Oh,
choice.
wow.
Yeah.
Question 1 on the list had multiple choice as well.
Yep.
Well, guess
Yeah,
what? We're
yeah.
not fucking there yet.
Oh. All right.
Is it Brian
And
Leach?
Did you hear my guess, by the way?
Not Brian
Because you
Leach.
didn't acknowledge it.
Which was your?
I just
I-
wanted to make sure you heard me say Adam Graves. But it wasn't Adam Graves. It was Lester Patrick.
Not Lester Patrick. No.
Was it James Patrick?
Neither one. Not James Patrick. No.
All right, what are the multiple choice?
Okay. A. Joe Malone. B. Dave Ritchie.
Joey
C.
Koser.
C. Harry Highland. Or D. Eddie Gerard.
I
These
like
are all names that I would not have guessed in a billion years.
Exactly. No, I never heard of any of these guys.
Did he
I
play
like,
for the Vancouver Millionaires?
I like Harry Highland.
That is
Like
not
Eddie.
the guy. That
Like
is not the
Eddie
guy.
came
Eddie.
down
It
the
was,
wing.
it
Here
was not
comes-
Eddie.
Harry
Well,
Highland with his
What was
no
the last
curve
one?
stick.
The last one. Who's that?
It was Eddie. But
Ed
no, it
Jobbers.
was not Eddie.
Okay, it wasn't that. It was
Not
the
Harry,
second
not
one.
Eddie. C and D are out. It
How
was
about the
either
second one? B.
second one. B. Dave Ritchie is correct.
Oh, wasn't he
Wow.
wasn't he Bon Jovi's guitarist?
No, that was the other guy. That was the other Richie. That was his
Oh.
father.
What Ritchie was? Oh, Sam Bohr. Okay, first name. Got it. I would have went with like Lionel Richie or Nicole Richie or one of those.
Nicole.
Just
Richie.
with the-
And now it's time for Impressions with Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Friends of Rounds podcast brings the fastest 2 minutes of this Type 45 show. It's 20 questions power play. Rules are simple. The group is 2 minutes to guess a famous player, coach, front officer, any famous player, a person associated with any of the 4 Friends of Rounds favorite teams. The group can ask up to 20 questions of rapid fire. Answers will only come in the form of a yes or no. The group will have to make a final guess once they put 20 questions or the power play has expired. If the group is successful, they win for the week and avoid shame for unable to win at a children's game. And away we go.
Is this person associated with the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yes.
Is this person associated with the New Jersey Devils?
No.
This person been associated with the New York Islanders?
Yes.
Has this person been associated with the New York Rangers?
No.
Islanders, Penguin only. Did this player play in the 2000s?
Yes.
Was this player a forward?
Yes.
Did this player win a Stanley Cup with the Pittsburgh Penguins?
Yeah, no. No.
Yeah! Okay. I guess the Devils won. Did the Devils win? All right. Is it Ziggy Palffy?
No.
Damn it.
It's not Marty Straka either, because Straka was a Ranger.
No. Forward 2000s. Penguins Isles.
Penguins Isles. Oof.
We need Nick on this one.
Yeah, really.
Dave Scatcher?
No.
Is this player American?
Yes. He is American.
Is it Billy Guerin?
No, he would have been
No.
on the Devils.
Yeah, he was associated with the Devils.
Come on, Bill.
Is it Craig? No.
Was this player an all-star?
No.
Just go
I don't
three
think
we
we
could
start with
minutes.
Nice try.
He wouldn't have known.
All right, one
Bill,
last
shot,
guess, Bill. Clearly, these two aren't going to get it.
Yeah.
How do you know?
I don't. Neither am I. I don't even think I could come up with somebody who fits those parameters. American, Islander, Penguin, forward, early 2000s.
Was he on the top? Was he a top 6 forward or was he bottom 6? Do you
I
think?
think
think
we're
he
allowed to
played
ask this.
both. He played both.
He was up. He was in both.
Played both.
It was Jan Herdina.
No.
That was my guess.
Yeah. It was a better guess than I was going to come up with.
Andy Hilbert.
I still don't know who that is.
Who the fuck
No?
is Andy Hilbert?
Andy Hilbert, born today. He played the Isles mostly. He played one season.
How
with
many
the
career NHL
half season.
games did Andy Hilbert play, please?
307.
Shut up.
Yeah, he played. He mostly played the bottom 6 of the Isles. That was kind of his thing. But he had for 3 seasons. He played 3 full seasons of the Isles. But he played with Boston, Chicago a little bit.
And how many
Pittsburgh
games did he
for
play
a
with the
little bit.
Penguins?
19.
So he was barely a Penguin.
Yeah,
And that was
Penguin.
before Bill's Penguin tenure, right?
Truth
Yeah.
be told, yep, it sure was.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't go by that. I go by who's born
Okay.
today.
Good
He
job,
was born
buddy.
today.
You win today. Good job.
Wow.
And the crowd goes wild.
No, they
No,
don't.
they don't.
There's nobody there.
No, they don't.
Who
go
is it?
wild.
Who do we come up?
Miles.
Who did we come up with last week?
Miles.
Somebody came up with a
Tom.
Yeah.
Tom got Chris Simon last week.
Yeah. I think that pissed off Nick.
Revenge.
Yeah,
this was Nick's revenge for sure.
It's like, try this one on for size.
I would have
guessed Dilbert before Andy Hilbert.
I had to get away from Devils and Rangers for a week because that's usually they get them all.
All right, let's go to this day in Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Right here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
This one's going to bring us to the year of our Lord 2012. Please go to July the 3rd.
Do you think John Butchergrass thinks these sponsors are for real?
Of course.
I don't think he heard us say
He saw us in person. I don't think so.
Okay.
Good call, Nick. Good call.
Breakfast was an orange.
Were you playing fucking soccer?
Yeah. Lunch was a Caesar side salad from Wendy's and a medium Coca-Cola Classic. Dinner was some delicious pizza from Scorantino's and a Coca-Cola Classic. I also enjoyed fireworks in South Amboy that night, as it was the day before the 4th of July. Why, Tom, did you pick July 3rd, 2012, which was a Monday?
I mean, obviously, because that was the day that Robert Leo Casey.
Oh, God. Three names.
Oh, they're fucking
every fucking time.
Of Miami,
Florida,
was arrested for masturbating while driving naked, and he also had a pistol in his anus.
Oh,
I mean, at least he was, not clothed at this point, and so,
apparently it can get pretty monotonous for those who work on the road. But on Monday, tow truck driver Eddie Dames
he was towing something
eyeful when he pulled alongside a buck naked white male who was quote unquote beating off. What they call it last week? Everybody remember
something about cleaning the floor.
Was it? Anyway,
wait. This tow truck driver tattletale
drove alongside this particular,
and then he's got a tattletale
and witnessed that he was buck naked and white, and he was beating off while he was driving.
He couldn't have seen the pistol in his anus, though. At the same,
I believe we have to be getting there, right? Oh boy, oh no! It was later revealed.
Billy, sing us out.
That the man, identified as Robert Leo Casey, had also inserted a children's toy gun.
A toy gun. Oh, well, who hasn't done that? I mean,
God damn it!
I thought this was weird until you said it was a toy gun.
So now it could be like a G.I. Joe toy gun. Like, are we talking that small?
So the tow truck driver called 911 and unsuccessfully tried to block the exhibitionist from traveling further on the highway. 2 Fort Pierce police officers pulled over Casey, who they witnessed struggling to get his pants on while behind the wheel of his Jeep Cherokee. You know what they say about guys who drive Jeep Cherokee?
They're the worst.
Drives Jeeps in general.
They're the worst.
They're all in this weird get naked and jack off while I drive club. I mean, I can't. The amount of Jeep Cherokees I've seen.
Miami in July, though, pretty hot. Maybe it didn't have air conditioning.
Well, but he said when the officers did ask Casey while he was driving around in the naked,
he was hot and he was hungry.
Well, yes, that's what you would think. But he was reported to have said he has problems with this and is getting therapy.
Tom's a creep. is a weirdo. Where does he come up with this shit? It's so disgusting.
I mean, good for you, guy. The first step is acknowledging the problem. Good for you, buddy. After Casey was arrested and transported to St. Lucie County Jail, a pat-down revealed he had a toy pistol.
Not a pat-down at that point.
Tied to his inner thigh. So it wasn't up his ass. It was tied to his inner thigh. When police tried to remove it, they found that half of the 8-inch long, 1/2 inch wide orange barrel had been inserted into Casey's anus.
And they knew because it didn't come out orange.
Probably not. He also had a black cloth tied around the base of his penis and ball sack, to quote the police report. Oh man. Casey is charged with lewd and I can't even say that word. Behavior, and his bond is set at $30,000.
Do you think if you're going to sell the car, you got to disclose that?
Ah, jeez. Okay, the Rangers won.
Everybody won, Bill. Where are the Penguins?
Yeah, they're you guys all got these
What's
these
cookies
teams
after the break? You think a
we got the
fundamentally
Avalanche.
sound team like Calgary is a cookie?
You guys beat Calgary, which is like the best of them.
Hey, listen,
somehow.
listen.
I've been giving this guy fuck the Flyers.
Well, hold on. I've been giving this guy a lot of shit. Congratulations, Alexei Lafreniere on the OT assist.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
It was 3-on-3.
It was a goal. Relax. And Markstrom was a little upset. Just a little upset. But I keep finding these guys with 3 names. It's very weird lately.
Ugh.
Just waiting to find the one that says Stephen Anthony Wojtowicz.
No, you're not going to see that one.
Or William Thomas Fougere.
Well, I mean, your story was almost my story until the gun up the ass part. I don't go that far.
Well,
You don't have a Jeep. You don't have a Jeep Cherokee.
I don't have a Jeep.
You should have saved that for your witty comment. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Hey, you know what? Good for Lafreniere. Maybe this will give him a little bit of confidence.
Nobody fucking gives a shit, dude.
Everybody gives a shit.
Let's talk Rangers again.
I give a shit.
Nobody fucking cares, man.
Another one of those fucking wins, man. Woo-wee. All right.
This is going to be the one that gets him going. I just know it.
I don't know about that, but it definitely will give him a good feeling. That entire kid line played well tonight.
Great.
Awesome. Don't forget to follow us on the Twitter at friends_rivals. YouTube, Facebook, Friends and Rivals podcast. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We will read them on the air if you want us to. Turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of the Friends and Rivals podcast. Billy, say something witty.
I get your guys' opinion on something. There's this nice little place for lunch right near my office, and I've had their bowls there a whole bunch of times. Really, really good. But their soup sounds pretty good. So,
Super.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to figure that out.
I mean, the bowl sounds good.
They have been good, but it makes me think the soup. I mean, I should try it.
I'm white super bowl. I don't know. What do you think?
Super salad? No, super salad's not as good as a super. That's like a big fucking bowl, dude.
Yeah, probably a big fucking bowl.
Yeesh.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that you keep saying it or the fact that Nick thinks it's a not
He wasn't totally paying attention.
That's a bowl. It's a huge one.
No, it's a soup or a bowl.
It's a big bowl of soup.
Come on, it's like a big salad, but it's a big soup. The soup. Soup.
All right. Well, if you didn't do it before, sing us out now. Jesus Christ.
Oh, my friends and rivals. Flyers fun, flyers fun.